Lap underway, and here's how they will line up. It is Laurens Hoer who will start the number 3 DKR Duqueine, ignore the graphic, and it is Thomas Ewan who will be starting the number 26 Breton car alongside him. Adam Konopka starting the number 4 ARC Bratislava Ligier ahead of his father Miro Konopka in 44. Martin Bohm starting the MG Sound Studio Ginetta in 61. So these second generation LMP3 machines still have a home here in the Ultimate Cup. Last year they were part of the European Endurance Prototype Cup, and that's now exclusive to the Novas, and they've just put on an absolutely cracking show for us in the 6-hour race. But now it will be the turn of these LMP3 machines, and Laurens Hoer starting the DKR engineering car from pole position, and then the young Brit Ewan Thomas in his first year of prototype racing starting on the front row of the grid. So the pace car will peel off to the right hand side. 55 minutes of racing, mandatory pit stop between the 25th and 35th minute of the race. Top two will be swapping drivers in that time. But for now, in the second race of the day, the Nissan V8's thunder into life. Laurens Hoer immediately chopping across the nose of Ewan Thomas, saying, "You're not coming through here, sunshine." The Duqueine leads into the first corner. Ahead of Ewan Thomas, the two Konopkas, and Martin Bohm bringing up the rear. Was victory in race 1 earlier for Ewan Thomas and Ben Stone, who he's sharing that car with, and he's just got out of one of the Novas in the Portimão race. That looked like Martin Bohm going for a spin at turn 5 in the Ginetta. Yes, it was. Running solo this weekend is Martin Bohm. We're used to seeing him out with Andreas Fiotic. He's not here this weekend. Martin Bohm, the co-manager of MG Sound, the Austrian music production company that's based in Vienna. He and Andreas, winners of the LMP3 AM Championship in the European Endurance Prototype Cup over the last couple of years. Staying faithful to their Ginetta G61 as well. Well, I've got a special guest with me in the commentary box for this particular race, and it is the championship leader of the Ligier Formula Cup. Of course, they wrapped up their racing yesterday, but Hugh Barter has stuck around for a little bit. Hugh, what have you been doing today?
First of all, thanks for having me. Yeah, obviously finishing was wrapped up yesterday, so I've decided to stay around. I'm actually here all next week coaching in Spanish F4, so actually works out well. Killed 2 birds with 1 stone, and yeah, so found myself here in the commentary box somehow. But yeah, so this is all new to me.
This is what you get for inviting a commentator over to your table in the restaurant last night. You get what you sign up for.
Exactly. I can't say this is what I was expecting when I invited you over, but
you should always expect me to get you into the commentary box. Every single conversation I have is about getting drivers into the commentary box. First of all, let's just start with this weekend. How things went. I mean, you did the triple, and it was not an easy weekend, largely because of, well, everyone's experiencing it at the moment, the ridiculous heat and humidity we've had here.
Yeah, like you said, it was really hot, and not just hot, it was like humid as well, like not like yucky humid, but just enough to like make it really tough as a driver. I know that even my teammate was struggling, like heat-wise and physically-wise. I mean, these cars aren't easy to drive with how much steering effort is required to actually turn the steering wheel. And yeah, and this track also being one of those where you have so many high-speed corners, and any small correction just makes it 10 times harder. But yeah, obviously to come away with 3 wins is not much more you can really ask for, to be honest, and the pace was great all weekend. So yeah, happy to walk away with the weekend with 3.
Because it's not just 3 this weekend, is it? It's 4 on the bounce and 7 in total after the 9 races we've had so far, I think, right? So yeah, you did the triple in Paul Ricard as well. I mean, goodness me, how do you come in and just nail it like that? Because, you know, Nano Lopez, he did a couple of races in that car last year as well. So did Dylan. You know, they're not slow drivers either. You've come in and just been like, bam, straight money.
I mean, obviously I'd say heavily experienced to some of the people in the field, and I've driven on all the tracks of the calendar, I'm pretty sure. So
even Aragon.
Yeah, because I did Spanish F4.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah. So she would know.
Claire Cotton was just packing up behind us in the truck.
Yeah, so obviously being to Aragon and all these tracks, and in Spanish F4 the seat time is quite a lot. You know, not only do you do, you know, the testing prior to the weekend, there's a lot of testing during the season at the tracks you go to, so it's almost a double whammy. Makes it a really good championship in your junior career to start off, and then obviously when you get to championships like this where it's more sort of international with you know, going all around Europe rather than sticking in just like Spain or in France, it really comes in handy. So yeah, it's I'd say it piggybacks off that and just being able to having that past seat time. And
you mentioned you have the more experience maybe than some of the drivers. I mean, obviously you were racing in Formula 3 as well, but you know, coming down to the Formula Regional cars, it's a Tata chassis as well, so that is still a bit of a change and something to have to get used to.
Yeah, I think prior to the race weekend, I had like 1 day in the car at Paul Ricard.
There you go.
It was actually my first dry lap was at Paul Ricard, the first session, and not only that, it was like I think I'd been like 6 months out of the car prior to that as well. So it was not steep learning curve, but it was a bit of like a shock to come in, and the brakes were like completely different from what I remember. Obviously, you know, muscle memory comes back quite quickly, and thankfully I'm still young. Yeah, you know, I would say that I was surprised with how quick I was able to come back, and you know, it all flows naturally. It's like second nature for me at this point.
It's the Formula 3 season. It ends so early, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In like September.
Yeah, correct.
So what do you do? Are you sat there just twiddling your thumbs, or you know, you're out there, you've got to be talking to all the teams and making sure you stay fit, and I guess doing 1,000 laps on the simulator?
Exactly. Thousands of laps on the sim. Obviously, in my 2024 campaign, I basically didn't race due to lack of funding. But I mean, even away from racing, you're just doing laps on the sim constantly, trying to get yourself out there, getting opportunities with teams to do sim work for them. Even some coaching. I mean, coaching is really great because it keeps you sharp, because you still have to know what you're talking about. It's not like you know, that information in your head is it's still useful, and I mean, it's nice to make some money also.
I was just going to say, surely the whole point, your goal is to just make some money.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
You gotta pay bills.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of bills to pay. So yeah, it definitely in the off season or when you're not driving, you're just trying to find a way to get yourself to a track, because I mean, in this sport, it's not like other sports like tennis, football, soccer, however you want to call it.
We're not going to open up that debate. Bear in mind, we're also live on YouTube. They will have a field day with that in the chat.
Oh, I'm from Australia, so we have our own football. So yeah, we.
Wait, what is Australian football?
AFL, Aussie rules. You don't know this?
The knowledge I have of Australia in general is pretty shocking. So, what is the difference between Australian football and English football then?
You can use your hands for.
So is it more like American football then?
It's like yeah, a little bit. It's like a mix between. Oh, have you watched Gaelic?
I have watched Gaelic football, yes.
Similar to this, almost.
Okay.
Yeah, but the ball is oval shaped.
Just rugby.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like rugby. The ball looks like a rugby ball. Yeah.
So it's American football, basically. Everything you're telling me makes it sound like it's just
we're getting
American
close
football.
to that. Yeah, but you can kick the ball. You're meant to kick the ball.
Okay.
You can't pass it by hand.
Okay, I see.
This is a bit of a sidetrack, but anyhow.
I'm learning about Australia here. I like it. In fact, I still reserve the right that we're the only ones who are allowed to call it football, because the whole thing is played with the feet.
With your feet, yes, correct.
And your chest and head, but don't worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that how you spend a weekend off? Are you much of a sportsman outside of racing?
Yeah, I am actually, yeah, for sure. I was big into athletics and running when I was younger. I mean, still am. I was in my off season. I was doing half marathons and for fun in quotation marks. And then I'm a big tennis player, huge actually. I would say that, you know, on a good day that I'm not too shabby. But
what's your backhand like?
Oh, we don't talk about that. I'm in a heavy debate between a double-handed backhand and a one-handed. I just like the look of the one-handed, even though I feel it's very impractical, because the moment anyone decides to put any sort of top spin on me and the ball is over my shoulder, I am standing 20 meters behind the baseline. So it's but it's nice for the show until the ball gets sent into orbit. I never see it again.
Somebody going back down to the next door park. Can I have a ball back, please?
Yeah, exactly. Or you gotta ask the dog owner walking by, can you over the fence, please?
Dear, oh dear. But it's great to hear you managed to stay so, I guess, active as well, because I think there are some drivers who end up spending so much time just working on doing stuff for sponsors and having to just look for opportunities, and because they have to work that avenue, they don't get any time to actually work on themselves, I guess.
I mean, it's a balance at the end of the day, you know. I'm lucky with my dad is helping me out massively. I mean, both my parents, very thankful for both of them. They've done a lot for me, and so obviously dad helps for looking for sponsors and trying to reach out and find people out there to help me. So that gives me the opportunity to keep active and stay fit and, you know, do some networking of my own as well. So yeah, it's really a team effort, and I'd say that's what got me so far in my career. You know, it wasn't just sort of me doing it or just my dad doing it. It's the team effort, you know, not just me and my dad, even my sister, she did my logo.
Oh really?
Yeah, so she's a communication designer.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And she's 10 years old. She's 10 years older than me, so by the time, you know, I basically needed a bit of a brand, she had graduated and whatnot, and yeah, she did my logo.
Super handy.
She wants to redo it actually, but I mean, she does have a life of her own. So yeah, it is a big family team effort, and I say one of the reasons that I'm here in Europe still and getting around doing stuff.
John, I want to touch on that in a moment. First of all, I have to tell the viewers about the connection we made last night, which was that your father used to be a chef.
Correct.
And Enzo Ligier, reigning champion in the Formula Cup, his dad also a caterer. So there is something about the sons of chefs and caterers in this championship that seem to have a knack.
We just eat well. What can we say?
That's it.
Yeah, we just eat well.
Eat well, drive well.
Exactly.
Eat well, sleep well.
Nutrition.
Yeah.
Good nutrition leads to good bowel movement.
Yeah.
Good sleep and well energized for the next day.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to put it down to.
Yeah, exactly. How else do I cope with such hot weather?
Okay, yeah, that's very, very true. I've been tempting drivers in all day with my air conditioning machine.
Yeah, it was really nice when I walked in here today.
Yeah, it does. It feels fantastic, doesn't it? It's certainly much nicer than outside. It's just been horrible, hasn't it?
Actually, like maybe an hour, 2 hours ago, when I was watching the Novas, I got a bit cold in the garage. To be fair, there was like
which garage?
There was like a cold breeze coming through. I swear. I promise.
Do they have dry ice in the garage? Is that why?
Yeah, I wish. Is that legal? I can't say. You don't know what team
I don't know. I haven't actually seen anyone use any dry ice, so I don't think so. Has that tempted you to look into the possibility of a sports car racing career, whether that's in prototypes or GTs?
Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy watching it, that's for sure. I mean, I watch WEC, I watch ELMS, I watch IMSA in America, I even watch IndyCar, I watch all forms of motorsport.
Man.
Yeah, so it's not just, I think some people get pretty locked in to just thinking about Formula One at a younger age. However, I do still want to aim for that. I'm still 19 years old, so there is still the possibility of, getting it back into the feeder series, let's say, and that's the aim. But to do so, I need to find some sponsors, get myself out there, and then win some races.
Absolutely. I think if there's one thing I like to drill into young drivers, and I meet a lot of them, is to just not sleep on GT and sports car racing, because I mean, so many of them who are just so laser drilled on getting to Formula One. And I ask them, well, do you want to spend millions and millions and millions and millions on a huge risk that might never happen, and then in your first year you won't make any money anyway?
Yeah.
Or you could just go to the route where you have a really good shot at becoming a professional driver, whether you're paid to coach or by a manufacturer, you work with a bronze driver, and you think about it as well, there's 3 times as many seats per car.
Yeah, and I mean, like, on top of that, I think, for me personally, I don't know, I can't speak for other drivers, but me personally, I would like to make a career out of motorsports, and not just in motorsports, but as a driver.
Yes.
That's what I love doing the most, and that's what I love about the sport. I mean, I love coaching, yes, and I am also personally interested in the engineering side of things, but out of all of that, driving is the top of the sheet. And so if I could make a professional career out of it, that's what I would like. Yeah. Now, depending on where I end up, if that's Formula One, fantastic. I would love that. If that's in GT World Challenge or WEC or whatever it may be, I would also welcome that with open arms.
Do you know, I'm so glad you said you watch all those different series, because you know what? When I get home, I'll stick it all on YouTube, get on with some work, have it running in the background. But of course, we have Formula One this weekend as well.
Yeah,
the Detroit Grand Prix as well, with both IMSA and IndyCar. That's later on today. GT World Challenge at Monza as well. That's all the stuff I'm going to be catching up on.
Yeah. I saw, I don't know who it was. I think it was Dixon that drove flat out.
Oh, Will Power.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I saw the replay, and he just started driving into
the back of, I can't remember who it was. I can't remember who he went into the back of. It wasn't Kirkwood. But it was, pretty.
To be honest, all the names kind of get mixed.
They do, especially when they keep changing the livery every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it's not like the liveries aren't like team specific. I don't know if you know what I mean.
No, no, it's all individual.
Yeah. Only one that's like team specific is like Prema, and you know like a Prema car as well. It's red, white, and green. I mean, it's like a. I don't know.
Yeah, they have a really good
track.
They have a really good brand identity going on. I think, I think it might also have something to do with the fact that the individual drivers don't have too many major sponsors between them. Yeah. Which is why.
Yeah. Potentially. I mean, I actually wonder, like Prema is like growing, like what their next move is, like what championship they want to get into. Because I mean, they're in LMP2. Yes. They're in Indy. Yes. They're in F4 Italian, F3 Freca, F2
Eurocup.
Are they in Eurocup?
I think so. They're in Eurocup 4, and they're not.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. The Euro Series.
Yeah.
So I mean.
Oh no! Sorry. Yeah, Euro 4.
Yeah, Euro 4.
The market of F4 and series between F4 and F3 is completely flooded at the moment. There's too much going on.
I hear some interesting things with the Euro Cup happening next year.
Yeah, so have I, and I don't. To be honest, as a commentator of another. Sub F3 series makes me very nervous as well. So I think maybe the less said about that, the better. We'll move on to another topic. Tell me about moving to the other side of the world, leaving home behind, because you were born in Japan and then moved to was it Melbourne?
Yes,
where you had your sort of formative years.
Yep.
And then when did you move over to Europe?
It was 2021, so I would have been 15 at the time.
Okay.
When I first moved here. I mean, the move itself is pretty smooth sailing. You know, you hop on a flight and whatnot, but it's the reaction and you're a deer in headlights when you first come to Europe. It's like there's so much to absorb, you don't know anyone, you have no friends. It's sort of like you have to fend for yourself, you know. And yeah, of course I've had my parents came over, and without them, I don't know what I would have done. And for sure it helps, but nothing's going to take away from the fact that you have to start from zero basically. And on top of that, no one knows who you are on as well. I mean, I don't know how big Australian karting is over in Europe, but I say it's zero. No one
I can't
knows.
say I've ever seen a race.
And I did zero karting in Europe. I did 2 races. I did world titles, Rotax world titles twice, with some big names actually. I had Kamara was 1 year there.
Oh yeah. Which Kamara? Rafa Kamara.
Yeah.
Suddenly thinking about it, Sergio Sette.
Yeah.
Kamara would have been a bit out of your age range.
He was there, I think, in 1 year, but as like a guest.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think who else was there? Oh my God. Hadrian David was there. Murray Boyer was there. Charlie Wirtz was there. Okay. There was some. Johnny Edgar. Well known. Some really big names, and I did really well. But I wouldn't say Rotax Worlds is a very prestigious event. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, when I first came to Europe, and I was quick, qualifying B1 or 2. Always. Everybody was a bit shocked. You get the stinky eye, and yeah, you gotta have a lot of resilience to sort of keep your head up especially on a tough weekend, and yeah, so that was the first impressions of Europe and what it was like to deal with, and then obviously you do your second year and you're a bit more settled in, you know what to expect, and on my second year, I think I came away with like 15 wins after a dual campaign, so it was really good.
Okay. With that, obviously you're learning the circuits as well. Was this before or after you got the F4 seat?
Like
you got the when you went because you went through the Richard Mille talent pool, right? So you were already based in Europe when you went to go and do that, or you moved because you got that?
I moved because I got that. To be honest, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't get that.
Okay.
Because, I mean, all my karting years were sponsored through an Australian company, and karting in Australia is, I would say, you can do it on a bit of a budget. And he was sponsoring enough to get by with that. But for sure, I wouldn't say he could have just upfront fee sort of, here's €100,000, go do the F4 series. And so without that sort of kickstart from the shootout, I don't think I would be in Europe, to be honest. Or there would be no reason for me to be here because, well, I wouldn't know how to get over here.
Yeah. You probably would have scooted around something like Carrera Cup in Australia or something like that. Yellow flags out at turn 3 because Martin Bohm has, well, I would say he's pulled off the road, but that's a really odd spot. Odd spot to end up in. So, but it's also an odd spot to have spun into as well. So,
but these cars have traction control, no, or not? I'm positive.
For the life of me, off the top of my head, do not remember.
I'm positive these cars have traction control.
They don't.
How is spun out?
Sure they don't have ABS.
No, ABS.
I think they do have some traction control. Yeah.
I think he's just pulled off to the side.
Maybe, and then he's just done a sharp turn to get it, I don't know, facing the barrier or something.
Yeah, or in like a safe area.
Yeah, exactly. But that is, that's the Ginetta seemingly out of the race, and.
I wonder how these cars are to drive. I've never driven anything else besides Formula cars.
Have you driven it on iRacing?
Yes.
It's pretty much like that.
Really?
That's what everyone tells me.
Really?
Yeah, they all say the LMP3 is probably one of the closest cars to reality in iRacing.
Yeah, it's a mega car to drive in iRacing.
We've got a safety car, by the way, for the recovery of Martin Bohm's car. So the 25-second lead that Lawrence Hur had built up will be eradicated. I'm sure he'll be absolutely heartbroken about that with Ewan Thomas on his back bumper. And actually, quite bad news, bearing in mind that the driver change window will be opening soon. In fact, it is already open. And the lead that he was hoping to give John Brownson in the second half of this race will have gone. Apparently the LMP3s, they're extremely popular. The great thing about LMP3 as well now in Le Mans Cup is they've introduced LMP3 Pro. So you can have all Pro lineups in Le Mans Cup now. So it's 2 different classes basically.
But a Pro is 2 silvers?
2 silvers or a silver and a gold.
Yeah.
But you don't have to have a bronze driver in Le Mans Cup anymore. They have a separate category for like Pro-Am and Pro now, and it's reinvigorated LMP3 in that category because there was already like a huge field before.
Yeah.
It's even bigger now, and it's fantastic. And I will say I was very skeptical about the introduction of the Toyota-based Oracle-built 3.5-litre twin-turbo V6 because this Nissan V8, the VK56, is one of, if not the best-sounding engine in motorsport. So to leave this behind, sadly, and then go to a twin-turbo V6, I was skeptical, but actually, it sounds pretty filthy.
I wonder how it drives, though. I mean, with the twin, like. Driving-wise, when you drive when you drive turbo and when you drive naturally aspirated, it's quite different. The driving, like
do you know it's so funny? I was just making a video with Philippe Albuquerque about this very topic because he used to drive the V6 turbo Acura in IMSA, and now he's driving the Caddy because Wayne Taylor Racing moved over to the Caddy, and that's like a big thumping American V8. Right, so it was like, it's a very different driving style in terms of like how you apply the throttle and how you use the power as well.
I would say, I don't know. I mean, my first normally like naturally aspirated car was Formula 3 because F4 is turbo.
Everything runs really tiny turbo engines now. So in the Euro Formula that I also commentate on as well, we've just gone from like a 2-litre 4-cylinder down to a 1.3 3-cylinder turbocharged engine.
3
cylinders, but it's got more power. It's got more power and it's gutsy, man, I tell you.
Yeah, I'd say
pretty spectacular.
The car that I've been racing this weekend, the Freca with the it's the Alpha, I think, in this car. I always get mixed up because obviously there's the Alpine and then there's the Alpha.
Do you know, that is actually a question for Claire, because that is not one I had written down in my notes, actually.
Oh, you'd think I would know since I'm the driver, but...
You don't care what the logo on the back of it says, you just care how it drives.
Exactly. But yeah, I'd say that's the first proper car with a big turbo in it, because in the ones in F4, I mean, yeah, it's got a turbo, but it's not big enough to create enough a delay with the throttle pickup, and the power band is still quite what's the word I'm looking for? Touchy? I don't know. But yeah, in this car, the Ligier Formula car, it's like quite a big delay, and if you drop out of the power band, you really have to wait for it to kick back in. And that's why it's actually really. When I first drove it, I drove it in the wet, and that is really sketchy, because if you don't predict when the kick from the turbo comes, the chances that you spin from just a sudden snap are so big.
So this, if anybody who watched the Formula Cup racing last year, mythical, we had a bit of a washout.
Of course.
Nano was, exactly. Yeah, middle of France in October.
Yeah, exactly.
But Nano was still in the Formula Renault 2-litre car. He hadn't moved into the Formula Regional car yet. This is when we still had multi-class. And he won that race in the Formula Renault 2-litre car. I think largely because it was slightly easier to drive.
Yeah. Well, this car is so heavy. It is so heavy.
It's something that really, really irks me about the state of modern single-seaters in general. Is just how heavy they are, because they become like boats, and it doesn't do the racing any favors at all either. That's why I really, really liked the old Euro Formula cars and the old European Formula 3 cars. Those Dallara, the 312s and the 317s and the 320s.
The 312 is a nice one. This is really.
It's like, where do you find a single-seater now that weighs less than 550 kilos?
You don't.
You don't. Especially when you put the driver in them as well.
I drove the 2.0, and that was mega. That was so nice to drive.
Really? Which year was that one?
17, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've had some drivers tell me it's the worst car they've ever driven, so that's really interesting.
The small one, the Renault 2.0.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
With the one with 7 gears.
Yeah, that was too many, I think.
It was so nice to drive. Who told you that?
I don't think I should say it.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, it was nice at the time because, well, I'd only driven an F4 car, and the new gen F4 car is, well, very questionably heavy.
Yeah.
It's very heavy. The brakes are too good. I'm pretty sure the brakes
too good. When has a driver ever complained of his brakes being too good?
Just the tires can't handle with how good the brakes are.
Okay.
You delay, touch, you just, I don't know how to. You just tap the brake and you lock everything up. I remember coming from the Gen 4 F1, not F1, F4, a Gen 1 F4. Oh my god, and. You had to brake so hard in that car, it was 100 bar, 140 bar, it was really smashing the brake pedal. And then came to the Gen 2, went to do the exact same thing, and I locked both fronts and rears at the same time. And so it turned out that you needed to brake at 60 bar or something like this. And that was the entire season. It was 60 bar, and that was enough.
Recalibrating the left foot.
Yeah, exactly. And then you went to F3 and you're pushing 200.
Oh my god.
So it was a big step.
Okay, fair enough. That's the driver change happening down at DKR. Lawrence Hoare handing over the car to John Brownson. The Muros have continued on for now. Still got another 7 minutes or so until the driver change window closes. So with those cars, stepping up downforce wise, how much of those first laps did you trust the car? It's going to stick.
That's a good question. I remember my first ever test in GP3, and everybody told me, okay, take it easy, you know, there's no need to just like, there's no need to push too much. The thing is though, as a driver, like you do the exact opposite thing, and you just push so hard.
Yeah.
Because you can always roughly tell as a driver, like you can even sometimes tell on the outlap what way the balance of the car is going to be just by the way the steering wheel feels and how the car is feeling. You know, there are just so many small details that you feel just on your outlap, and so you can always roughly tell, you know, in your first push what the car's going to be like. And my first test was in Valencia, and turn 1 being extremely high speed, I just threw it in, and I was like so far under limit. What I thought I was like throwing it in, and everybody else was like, oh, he's done a good job, you know, first lap. And I just like parked at the apex because it was so much downforce. And then I understood, okay, oh,
that is John Brownson in the DKR car, and oh, he's beached it. No. Timing still says it's Lawrence Hur in that car, but they did do the driver change, so I assure you that is John Brownson. We've got a good view of it. Looks like someone pulled the handbrake.
I know these cars are notoriously known for having a lot of rear locking.
Yeah.
It seemed like he lost it from mid to exit, so...
I suppose that is a very tricky corner as well, where it dips away at the apex.
You can't see the exit at all. You don't see the exit of the corner. So I remember my first ever laps here in F4, and I went to exit the corner, and I just kept exiting like mid-track because I didn't know where the exit curve was. And then obviously, you know, you learn, okay, you can take more and more and more. Actually, there used to be a massive ditch on the exit of the corner.
Really?
Like with this like drain or something, like a metal drain. And I remember hitting that once, and oh my god, I flew.
I have seen a couple of cars sort of skating through the gravel, and it is quite a sight when they're bouncing through, and it's going downhill as well, and it digs and it bounces.
Yeah. Actually, the worst thing about like going through gravel and having those moments is the amount your head moves in the between the headrest. Like
when you're going through the gravel?
Yeah, going through the gravel.
Okay.
You go through the gravel. I mean, yeah, like you have the fear, like, oh, don't get beached and don't hit the wall. But like you actually can't see. Like it's that bad. Like the vibration.
I bet, yeah.
And your head, you just like, it's like literally someone just got your head and like it's just throwing it from side to side as quick as they could. It's terrible.
Well, there's a lesson to every driver out there. Don't go bouncing through the gravel traps. We're under full course yellow conditions, and sadly it looks like Miro Kinopka is not going to be heading back out in a hurry either, because his ARC Bratislava Ligier has got the back bodywork off, and there's mechanics with tools looking into the back of it. So that was so John Brownson beached in the gravel. Martin Bohm pulled over at the side of the road, and now Miro Kinopka potentially not rejoining the race. Speaking of Martin Bohm, actually, his car on the back of a low load has just gone past our commentary box as well. That's a sorry sight.
Are all the cars in this the same?
No, there are... Right, so here we go. There are, as we just see again, why we're under full course yellow conditions, there are 4 manufacturers of LMP3 machinery.
Correct.
And one in the second generation of LMP3, which is what these cars are from, one of those manufacturers we did not see at all, but that has since been redressed in the third generation, which started this year.
Right.
So you have cars from Ligier, Duqueine, Ginetta, and Ades.
Yeah.
It is a spec engine, but the chassis are there are 4 available. It's the same as LMP2.
Yeah.
Which no one realises that it's not a spec series because everyone uses an Orica. Yeah. I know they're trying to do something about that with the new regulations in 2027. And if it follows the success of LMP3, because we saw no Ades in that period. I don't remember ever seeing one. But they've got a couple on the Le Mans Cup grid now, and I think one in European Le Mans Series as well. We've got DKR now run the Ginetta efforts as well in European Le Mans Series. And there's a few extra Duqueine, and John Brownson's got coming.
Does BOP get applied at all, or not really?
They're built to sort of within a performance window,
Right.
really. So there shouldn't need to be a balance of performance. It's not like because they're purpose-built race cars. It's not like, say, in GT3 racing, for example, where you're basing something on a road car.
Yeah.
Even though they're race built from the ground up, but
Yeah.
based on shelled basically like a road car. To represent different brand characteristics for these cars.
Yeah.
Where you then need to apply a balance of performance. Whereas because these are designed and built to just be like, this is what it needs to be, there isn't too much to do.
It's a bit tough and rough, I guess.
It is a little bit. I mean, the sort of general consensus, because there were barely ever any Ginetta in this generation of.
To be honest, I only thought there was a Ligier.
Yeah, because they were 99% of the cars, the active cars in LMP3, and then a handful of Duqueine. The general consensus, I think, speaking to drivers over those years, was that the Duqueine was slightly quicker, but a real knife edge of a car, not very friendly for the AM drivers. The Ligier was the best because it was that perfect blend of speed and drivability.
And a good window, I assume.
And I think also the customer support as well was just pretty good. Everyone loved working with Ligier. And it's so bizarre that they didn't have that same success with their LMP2 car either. I know it's the one on iRacing, but it's not the one that anyone drives in real life.
The one on iRacing?
Yeah, the JSP 17, yeah. That's the LMP2 car.
I thought the one on iRacing was Dallara.
Yes, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. The P17 is because it uses a similar naming system. Sorry. No, it is a Dallara. Excuse me. It's but yeah, still, it's bizarre. It didn't
see that
happen
anywhere. I've actually never seen that on a track.
No, I haven't either. I've seen a couple of Ligier at Le Mans. For people who couldn't afford Oricas. I'm sure there were other reasons, but I've seen a couple of them.
I've only seen Ligier because we got a PowerPoint presentation presented to us about the Ligier when I was driving at FFSA.
Really?
Yeah. And
when was this?
Start of 2022. It was at Nogaro. I still don't know why they were presenting it to us.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think they were trying to get us to drive for them or something.
Okay.
Or like have an interest.
Well, in fact, they do produce a lot of cars because it's the USF4 car that they produce. The JS2R, there's a different type of GT car, I think, that they make as well. LMP3. Technically, you can say they make an LMP2 car that no one races, and their sort of GTX car. There was a bit of a sort of how fast can we make a car project. But that being said, as well, they are also a chassis supplier for LMDH as well.
What?
So the LMDH cars, Lamborghini uses them. So the SE63 is based on has the Ligier chassis base. Off the top of my head, I can't remember if anyone else uses one, but definitely Lamborghini uses the Ligier base for their LMDH car.
I still don't get what the difference between LMDH is.
Right, I'm about to learn you something.
No,
good here.
I've tried so many times. I've watched so many YouTube videos and I still don't understand.
Oh, I can boil it down to you. Right, it comes down to a basic thing. Okay, hypercars are sort of built from the ground up as completely unique designs. So Ferrari made the 499P just from the ground up, from whatever they wanted to start with. LMDH is a lot more off the shelf. So you start with an LMP2 chassis, add your own aerodynamics to it, add your own engine to it, and use a spec hybrid system.
Okay, wait.
That is the fundamental difference between them.
But does that mean they're two different categories?
They're not two different categories, they're two different regulation sets that are designed to work in tandem together, so you can race them together. We've seen in the World Endurance Championship that Porsche was winning a lot last year, but they had really stiff competition from Toyota and Ferrari and Cadillac as well. That's where it's been the most successful.
Yeah.
And the reason people don't realise it is because up until this year, there had been no hypercars in IMSA. That was all LMDH cars.
Yeah. Okay.
All the cars built to the same regulation set. Because the thing is, all the manufacturers that are signing up, there are only 3 or 4 that are signed up to hypercars: Toyota, Peugeot, and Ferrari, and Aston Martin. They're hypercars.
I forget they're coming in.
Yeah, exactly. No, they're in.
They're in?
Now with the Valkyrie, yeah, it's racing now.
I didn't... Really?
Yeah, no, you can't see it, but you can hear it. You can't see it because it's at the back, but you can hear it coming because that V12 is an absolute monster.
But I haven't been watching IMSA recently. I mean, I've been traveling so much. I've been like missing out on like all the racing. I watched the Indy 500, and that was like the first time I was ever home that weekend. Monaco and Indy 500.
That's perfect. That was my birthday that day as well, so I got to enjoy that when I was celebrating that. Miro Konopka has been pushed back into the garage by the looks of it, so he's not going to be continuing on. But I love the world of sports car racing. As you can tell, it's an awful lot of fun. Very much looking forward to Le Mans in 2 weeks. As well.
Have you been to the event?
I've been twice as PR for teams.
Right. Okay.
This year I'm going for other purposes.
Is that a secret thing? Or?
No, it's not really a secret thing. It just hasn't been announced. Yeah, you know what I mean. You get it. You're a racing driver.
Yeah, I get it. I'm the one that asked me those questions that I had to dodge.
Yeah, I know. You dodged them beautifully, though. You really, you did such a great job of that. I love it when racing.
We're doing a race, yeah.
You see that look on their face of like, oh no.
Yeah. How do I enter this one?
But are you going as well? Are you going to be? You should take a look around. I think
it's in 2 weeks. Yeah.
It's in 2 weeks. So the Le Mans test day will be, I think, in 7 days. I'd have thought. Because all the running.
The 20.
Hold on. Le Mans test day should be on the 8th. So in 1 week.
It's like 14, 15, 16.
It is, 14th, 15th will be the 24 hours, yeah. But obviously they run for like a whole week.
Yeah.
Before that.
Oh, I'm in Marseille.
Oh no. How awful.
I'm in...
So close as well.
Yeah, I know. That depends. For an Australian, that's close, but maybe for the rest of Europe it isn't.
As far as I'm concerned, as long as it's in the same country.
After this, obviously I stay here for the whole week. Then I'm off to Munich. Can't say why.
Okay.
And then I spend my time in Munich until Thursday. Then I fly to Marseille. And then I'm back home for a week. And then potentially back to Marseille the week after.
Okay.
And
you making visits to Paul Ricard while you're there?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So we'll be doing some more coaching.
Nice.
Some more money.
Let's give your sort of customers an opportunity to have a bit of a shout. Who are you working with? Who do you want? Shout them out now and say, watch these guys in Spanish F4.
I'm actually working with DriveX. I'm not having a specific driver, but I'm working with DriveX. So let's hope they do well this weekend, and if they do, I'm going to take all the credit.
Well, you know that if a DriveX driver, so who are we looking at? There's quite a few of them actually. So who is it? Christoph L. Fegali.
Yes.
Filippo Fiorentino, Stepan Suslov, and Gino Trapper. If they're winning, it's because of you.
Exactly. I think it's Fagale. This is the guy that's Red Bull, I'm pretty sure. Let me check. Yes, it is. Fagale is the Red Bull driver. So I think they have not a bad lineup. In F1 it's always a bit hard to tell. I think as your first year as a rookie in a junior category, there's a lot of pressure on you, so it's not just a drive. it's not
just about kept in that direction.
It's not just a driver. It's not just about driving, you know. It's also about your mental space, and you know, if you've got a good head on your shoulders, and if you can deal with that pressure to perform, you know, that's I think what makes the difference. I think there's a lot of good drivers out there. I think everyone on their day can perform, you know, and be one of the best, but it's how often you can do that and be in that headspace. And if you're out of that headspace, be able to get back into it just as quick. I think being able to bounce back is a crucial part of being a driver, because, I mean, as a sports person, there's a lot more bad days than good days.
Do you know, I was just having this conversation with a couple of the 23 events team that has had another win fall by the wayside because of a technical issue.
Yeah, the power steering.
So James just came in and oh yeah, you were. It was. I had to go over to Alan and say, I'm sure that James has told you that racing is 90% disappointment, and every now and again something good will happen, and that'll make it all worth it.
Makes it's the cherry on top when it all comes together. Yeah.
See, this is why I can never be a racing driver. I don't have a patience for 90% of disappointment.
I mean, I feel like being a tennis player is almost just as bad, to be honest.
Well, in fact, those results can only go one way, can't they?
Yeah.
Whether win or you lose.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like tennis is like the biggest mental game ever. Like, imagine.
Really?
Yeah. Don't you think?
What? Do you know what? I don't know enough. I don't watch enough tennis to be able to.
Because it's like one-on-one. You know. It's not like it's not like when you're racing when you have 20 other drivers on the grid and you can kind of distance yourself from them before you get in the car and whatnot. But like when in tennis, you're in the same warm-up room, you're in the same vicinity as the other player, and he's the only player against you. You know, there's a bit of a aura, let's say, when you go up against someone like Roger Federer or, you know, the big four at the time. Like, I think that's such a mental thing, and you need to like stay super cool and calm and collected both ways, if you're winning or losing, because there's so many times that I see like people winning against some big names and then they just fumble.
Now, do you know what? I suppose there is some truth in that, and I guess that is where, and you say that about any sport really, the ones with the best mental game are the ones that come out.
Yeah, exactly. But there's so many things. Like, to be honest, like sometimes you need a bit of I don't know, not disrespect. You need a bit of an ego for one, but you need to like be comfortable to try and get into someone else's head, because to be honest, it's important. As it like I remember, well, I don't know if I can even say this, but I'm gonna say it. Like, as I think I was starting P3, and the guy who started on pole was a teammate of mine, and he was a rookie, one of his first races ever. And I said to him, whatever you do, just don't stall.
Oh, okay.
This is like the mental game that you play, you know. You know, obviously, I like the guy. He's super nice, actually, and you know.
Did you feel really bad afterwards?
No, to be honest. I mean, I won the race, so like, what can I say? You know, like, it's like it's part of the game. You know, it's part of what I have to do, but it's also, there's nothing to say that he can't do the same to me. You know. Like,
yeah, true.
It's a fair playing field, you know, and it is your job as the driver to be able to take whatever someone else says to me and be able to give it back. And you know, you need a really tough skin as a sports person. Like, it's just it's huge. It's a big advantage if you can have a thick skin. Yeah.
So something that I think just a lot of people don't think about as well, because we come in, we look through the window every now and again and see a very surface level performance, and no one really appreciates not just the work that gets you into that point, but all those little micro details.
And everything counts at the end of the day. I mean, especially I say even more so in racing. Again, you get so little time and experience, everything counts.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, you spend millions upon millions to get yourself to a place, and it's like, how much practice do we get? Half hour?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, F3 was you do 3 push laps before the qualifying, and then on top of that, qualifying is then a track improvement of like 1 second. So it's like, well, thanks. Now I know which corner goes where.
Yeah, I know. Is it the fast right or the hairpin? Oh, it's the hairpin.
Yeah. Might as well turned up in a Honda Civic, and that would have been good enough.
Do you know, if there's nothing stopping you doing that, then
what? Rocking up in a Honda.
Rocking up the day before in a Honda Civic and just have a look around.
Actually, it's always fun in the like off-season testing in the winter, because it's so cold. A lot of the time in the morning, there's a lot of fog. Especially in places like Austria, when you're up in the mountains, it's like impossible to see. And so the track gets closed for, actual testing, but it's still open for road cars. And so you just end up having like 10, 15 road cars all out on the track, driving with these rent-a-cars. That is some of the most fun ever.
We've definitely, we've fallen afoul of the fog in the morning. I was colleague of mine and I, we were staying at the Red Bull Ring, and one morning we were getting to the track, very, very foggy day when we woke up, and it was about halfway to the circuit when we saw some headlights coming towards us, and we realised we were on the wrong side of the road.
Because you're British.
Because we're British, but also B, because we couldn't see anything.
Yeah. I remember when my dad one of the first times he came over to Europe in 2016, and he exited the hotel, it went to the other side of the road.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, oh no.
Oh no. Just trying to work out here if we're on our last lap. I think Ben Stone crossed the line with about 1 minute and 40-ish to go. Last lap was a 1:43, so it's going to be quite tight as to whether or not we're actually on the final lap here.
Awesome. What times are the GT cars doing around here?
The GT, now that is gonna have to dig out the.
Go through
well, it depends on the GT car really, because we've got 5 different classes of them. Just to see, that was quite a big moment there on what could be the last lap. Is that the checkered flag being ready? Yes, it will be. There it is. So, checkered flag. Oh, I hope Ben Stone saw it. It should come up on the...
you got it.
On the illuminated banner. What's the word I'm looking for? The big LED screen over the gantry. So
that wasn't on all weekend for me. I couldn't see how many laps or time I had left.
Take that one up with AII. But it's Ben Stone and Ewan Thomas back-to-back victories in the European Sprint Prototype Cup. Adam Konopka will eventually get over the line. And John Brownson, I know it still says Lawrence Hoare on the graphic, but it is John Brownson, who just hasn't flick the little driver ID switch.
Oh, they do it themselves?
Yes, there's a switch on there. It's driver ID 1, 2, 3, and you'll have a name assigned to the. You have to do it in pit lane. You get a bit of a slap on the wrist if you forget to do it, because you're supposed to do it before the car goes back out into the pits. But there is the checkered flag for Lawrence Hoare, who gets 3rd position, and then last car over the line will be Adam Konopka. All of our finishers get to stand on the podium today. Happy days for them. Joy of joys. Well, that is Adam Konopka over the line, and so as the cars make their way back to the garage. Oh well, Car 26, yeah, this is great timing. 1 minute 26.3 second time penalty, a very specific one for pitting under the safety car. I did think that. I did think you weren't allowed to do it, but the good news for them is that they finished 1 minute 31.2 ahead of Adam Konopka. So they will still keep the win despite their very specific penalty of 1 minute 26.3 seconds. And they pull into the Parc Ferme area, and so we'll be wrapping up coverage here from Portimão soon. So I will let Hugh Barter get on with his day, and thank you very much for coming in and having a chat with us and entertaining us over the last 55 minutes as well.
Anytime.
All right.
Always.
And enjoy the break while it lasts. We'll see you in Aragon as well.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, absolutely top man. Thank you so much for coming in. Absolutely wonderful. So it's Ben Stone and Ewan Thomas on top again. Final race of the day completed here in Portimão. It's a long old break until we go to Aragon, but that will be the next round of the championship in the first weekend of September. So from myself, Chris Stevens, and Claire Cottingham, who's been joining us in commentary and in pit lane, thank you very much for listening. We'll see you in Aragon.
Être un bon traiteur, c'est être intransigeant sur la qualité. On ne fait du bon qu'avec le meilleur. C'est être impitoyable sur les recettes. Quand c'est bon, il n'y a rien à ajouter, rien à enlever. C'est être irréprochable sur le goût. Il faut prendre du plaisir pour en donner. Voilà, pour être un bon traiteur, il faut être intraitable.
Parfaitement intraitable.